the importance of this, we will start a discussion slowly. So I'll just start this with a small slide. I think in the first session, in your NEP session, you would have gone through these slides. Just as an introduction, I will also start with that and then go to CBL. So I'll just take a minute to share my slide. I'm not giving an introduction of myself, it will take lots of time. So I'll just go into the book directly. So I'll just share the slide here. 1 second. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So competency-based education. So what we have to learn is why competency-based education is needed and what is competency-based education and how we are going to implement this in our daily classes. These are the things that we will be discussing here in this Bhavana. So what is competency-based learning? So as per our National Education Policy 2020, we have so many parts in it. From early childhood education to foundation literacy and numeracy, then curtailing dropouts, restructuring the school education structure, the holistic development of children, multilingualism, co-curricular and curricular integration of subjects, then recruitment, deployment, all those things which are not essential to us, but it is a package of so many things, the National Education Policy. So here we are going to take importance on three things, that is foundational literacy and numeracy, which already has been dealt a little bit, and holistic development of learners, multilingualism, and curricular integration of essential subjects and skills. So these are the things that we will deal upon when we are touching our topic. Here in the earlier session itself in the morning, you would have seen this slide. I think in the first session you would have seen it. The difference between equality, equity, and liberation. So what we do in our normal education system is we deal with equality. We don't go with equity. In competency-based education, what we have to plan is we have to bring equity and liberation into the class. When we teach a child, we have to see that all the children attain that particular level. It is not equally distributed in the child. So if I take an example of money, when you are giving something to a child, so if I want to make 10 rupees to everybody, one child will be having 7 rupees, one child is having 2 rupees, and one child is having 8 rupees. If I decide I will give 2 rupees to everybody, that is equality for me because I am giving equal amount to everybody. But for the child, it doesn't become equal. A child who is having only 2 rupees, his net amount is becoming only 4 rupees. But for a child who is having 8 rupees, it becomes 10 rupees. For me, it is equality. For the child, it is not equality. So what we have to do is, according to the level of the child, we have to provide educational needs. That is, for a child who is able to read, you can give more reading activities. But for a child who is not able to read, you have to start from the basic, from the alphabets you have to start with. So making equal things according to the level of the child and removing the barrier in front of them. So the picture you can see here, the children are seeing a match. When you give equally in a classroom, what happens is one child who is good, he can see the match clearly. An average child can peep and see, but a child who is not able to read, he cannot see anything. He will have to see through a hole that is between the barriers. But when you are coming to equity, everybody is having the same opportunity here. But what we have to do is we have to remove the barrier also. It is not only giving opportunity, but everybody should be able to enjoy it, irrespective of the playground that they are in. So that is what CBE is actually aiming. It is aiming to bring liberation or making the child to interact or come out with whatever talent skills he has, irrespective of the subject he is learning. That is what CBE actually aims at. So why it is done? That is because we have seen in the researchers that 47% of the children are average performers in language, 33% perform in science and 34% in social studies. That means only 30% of the children who are coming out of our educational institutions are employed. So that has to change. So to change that, it has to start from the basic level. So that is why it is the importance is given for basic reading arithmetic skills in the primary level itself, so that they can carry on with that results when they go to higher class. I am not going in details on these things because it's already dealt with in FLN. So human skills are more in demand. So we need a child who is good in communication, who is good in listening, who is good in critical thinking, and who is good in interpersonal skills. How these can develop? To develop these qualities, what are the things that is needed? That is what we have to provide in schools. Because memory skills, computer skills, qualitative skills, ability to repeat tasks, machines can do. You prepare a computer will do all these things. But we need people who have good skills of interpersonal skills, who can think in a different way, who can listen to others' problems, who can solve it for them, who can be good communicators. So for that, human skills are needed. So to bring out these skills, we have to change our approach in which we teach the children. So that is what CBE is aiming at. And NEP is actually going to build these gaps using these things. So the gaps in knowledge, the gaps in skills, the gaps that are created in motivating children, the environmental gaps and the communication gaps. These are the things that has to be filled when we are doing the classroom. So how we can do, what are the things we can set, that we'll discuss now. So before going into it, these are the things that we have to have in a child. The skills, attitudes and knowledge. This is what we are going to provide for the child. We have to provide them the skills, the required attitudes and the knowledge. So for this, we'll have to have some kind of an idea of how we are going to plan our classes. So that the skills, attitudes and knowledge is distributed to the children, or they come up with. That is what CBE is, or CBE is aiming at. So we know that the main part of our system is, we have these domains in our body or our system. That is psychomotor skills, affective skills and cognitive skills. So each of these skills have to be reoriented or redefined when we teach in the class. And CBE is a mixture of all these things. It has curriculum in it, it has skills in it, and it has to form it. So when we are going to the class, we have a curriculum with us which NCERT is providing us, and we know what are the skills that we need, the future skills that a child has to attain, and what are the contexts or the environment that they are going to live in. So in this new situation, what are the things that a child needs? So for that, the competencies required are, these are the competencies that we need to develop in the children. Personal growth and well-being, cultural and global citizenship, collaboration, communication, creativity and innovation, managing information, problem solving and critical thinking. These are some of the skills that a child has to attain over the period of education. It is not that a class 1 child will attain all these things. No. It is over a period. By the time the child is reaching 8, 9, 10, 11, or by that time, they should be able to do all these skills should have been developed. How we will develop? What are the ways we can do? That we will come. So the modes of learning. There are two types of learning that we normally focus in the children. That is, one is passive learning and one is active learning. What normally happens in a classroom is a passive learning. So we teach, the children receive information and ideas. They stop it. But what an active learning is somewhere where they use what they have learned in different activities. So they do it, they observe it. So we have to provide opportunities for the child to do things on the content, on the concept, what we teach them. We teach a content, we give a test, we finish it, we go to the next lesson. We don't give them opportunity to experience it or do it. That is what we have to start with. CBL or CBE mainly means that when you are teaching maths, when you are teaching numbers, 1, 2, 3, yes, numbers you teach, you know that shape of 1 is like this, 2 is like this, 3 is like this. Okay, all these things are there, the child writes 1, 2, 3, yeah. But what all things can he do with 1? Ask him to write numbers where 1 is there. Or where all 1 can be used. Where did he see 1? So you can give a small activity of counting in the house. When the child is going to the house today, you can just ask him, today when you are going to the house, on the way, how many red color cars did you see? Count and come and report to me tomorrow. So there the child will learn so many things. Color, he will observe, he will count. Unknowingly he will start using the numbers, he will see the color, he will identify, he will classify how many cars are red, how many cars are blue. Some children will make a table out of it. You are not going to teach them from the draw table, they will do themselves. So giving activities which make the child do things by themselves. We are only facilitating them. We just give them activities. You teach one, after teaching one, you give some activities related to one, drawing one. Using one, you make some shapes. Using one, they can draw a square. 4 ones in 4 different shapes, it becomes a shape. Triangle can be created using one. A circle can be created using one. How? Let them think. But there you are giving opportunities for the child to do things. He will learn one, along with it, he will also start using it in different ways. That is what creative or critical thinking is aiming at. So where you want to make the child do something which is not there in the textbook. Everybody has a textbook, everybody knows the activities given in the textbook, they do it, they stop it. But we have to give something which is more, which has to develop their thinking skills. So for that, you have to plan some activities, some ideas. This is what actually happens in a normal classroom. What happens is, the content-centered paradigm pushes teaching and learning in this direction. That is in one direction. When we teach, the child follows one particular direction. They teach, they learn, they write an exam, finish. Again, the next class they go, they learn, they write an exam. The openness is not coming. So we want openness. When a child learns something, he has to apply it in his life. He has to integrate it with other subjects. He has to find human dimensions to it. He has to use it for caring and learning how to. All these things has to come. That is what this CBE aims at. So when you are doing something, it has to be, what do you call it? Overall development. That is what Gandhiji once said, right? Overall development is what is required. So when we teach, we go in a one particular path that has to be changed. So these are the things which we can do. Learning how to learn, becoming a better student, inquiring about the subject, self-directing learner. So for this, we have to give them some activities. Peer learning, peer tutoring, all these things are important when learning how to learn, because they learn how to learn with their friends, not with themselves. So when we give them activities, when we give them activities to teach others, when we give them small activities, they start doing these things. Then foundational knowledge that we are providing, applications, you can provide questions and thinking skills which are required for the children. Giving some projects, multidisciplinary projects are started now. So you can give some projects where creative and critical thinkings are being implemented. Learn human dimensions, learning about ourselves, interconnecting and caring. These are some of the things which we aim at the end of the course. Then a holistic view of active learning. So what active learning is? Experiences, reflecting, information of ideas. These are the 3 main parts of active learning cycle. So when a child is actively learning something, he experiences so many things. How does he experience? By doing, by observing, by stimulated rich learning experiences. And what are the ideas he gets? That is from the classroom, outside the classroom. He gets ideas from different places, not only from classroom, from the classroom as well as from outside the classroom. He will be getting ideas, and he will reflect on what he learned. So give some things for reflection also. Give some things for reflections also. So this is what we want to practice in our classroom. Have a theoretical class, you teach something, then give some practice. How to give some practice? You give some open-ended questions or give some situations to them. Let them find out solutions for it. So in that way, they will use the theory in practical life. So yesterday in Twitter, I was seeing a video. The video was we learned about the story of crow putting a stone in a bottle, and when the stones are being dropped in the water level rises up. We know that we learned it in long time. Yesterday in Twitter, they had shared a video. A small bird, it drops a small bottle of water is there. when it tries to put its beak into it, it is not able to drink water. So what does it does? It puts one pebble in it. The water level rises. It drinks water. Then again, it takes another pebble, puts it. Again, it drinks the water. So it is using this knowledge. From where did this bird get this knowledge? We do. It might have seen it somewhere, but it has got this knowledge. There's a Twitter handle for physics for you. In that handle, if you see, they put daily videos like this, which are very innovative, which are very informative. Also. You can share those things with the children. It will be effective for them because they learn when they see things. So this is a way that we are following in our classroom. In-class activities are there, which is lecture, test, problem solving, exam. This is what happens in the classroom. And this is what happens outside the classroom. The below activities. That is the homeworks and activities that you are giving, the homeworks that you give to the child, and the review that is done. This is done by the child. And this is what happens. So when this wave is complete, only the process is taking place. What happens normally is this upper wave we do, but we forget about the lower part of the wave. So what happens is this only happens, this gap always remains. So we have to fill the gap. We have to see that whatever lecture what we have given, the homework that we have given, that whether the child is doing it. The follow-up part is also very essential. So this is what is practice. Theory is given, practice part you have to take up. So with that, that particular idea will go on. Now I think I have just given a basic idea about what CBL is actually is. This is what CBE is actually aiming at to develop the innate qualities in the child and to bring it out. Because there are some children who are sitting in the classroom, they will not be, they might learn, they will do good things, they will study well, but they will not open their heart or they will not express themselves. So if you give opportunities to such children, only they will come out to express. So where you have to give, every child has some or the other skills. We don't actually, that is NEP actually focuses on the development of the student. Don't think that this child is good in maths, this child is good in English, this child is good. No. Whereas every child is having some good qualities. In some areas he is good. Find out that. Use that area to teach the other stuff. A child who is good in drawing might not like maths, but you can use drawing to teach maths. You give some activities related to drawing where he will use those drawing skills and he will start learning maths. So that is what we have to find. So use the skills that is available in the child and redirect it and bring it to in such a way that the child starts using it in your particular subject. Might be some children are not good in reading. So take some activities where you find out the areas where the child is good. So he might be good in sports. He would like to read articles based on sports. So give an article related to sports. So he knows he wants to know more about sports or a particular game. So he will start reading it because he wants to know it. So when he wants to know, he will have the curiosity to find out. So he will try reading. So like that, you can find out what are the strengths of the child. What is the interest in a particular child. So use that interest for teaching that particular child. That is only for I am saying about slow learners. It's not practically possible. I know it is in a classroom of 60, 70 children. It is difficult to identify a child and sit with him and do it. It is difficult, but we can try. It's only I am not trying it out. We can try. When you are calling in for remedial teaching or when you are calling towards you for giving some additional work, you can try these small methods so that you will also start coming up with the other stuff. In a practical classroom, when you are teaching, it is not possible to do that. How can I take in a class of 70 children or 60 children? How can I find each children come up to me and do? It is not practically possible. Even I know that. It is easy to say than to do. That is practically done. Everybody knows that. It is easy to preach, but hard to practice. So, but we can try. It's in our hands. When we are sitting and when we are still dealing with children, we can also try doing it. So that is about what CBE is. Now I will come to our part. I will just present the screen with CBE related to mathematics. And I have a 2-slide presentation. One is related to mathematics and one is related to EBS. So in math, what are the things that you can do with CBE? Already in the morning session you had foundational numeracy session you already had, I think. So you would have got a basic idea about what numeracy is and how you are going to use it in your classroom. What are the different things that you use to improve the numeric value of the children? How they can identify numbers, what are the things they can do, how they can use it in practical solutions. These things would have already come up in the morning session. Here I am not going to teach you anything, or I am not going to give anything. I will just give you some problems. You will just go through the problems and you can see how you can use such kind of problems when you are teaching in your class. That is the main concept that I am going to use. Some problems will be presented to you. When you are teaching in your classroom, when you are using mathematics classroom, what similar kind of questions you can put to the children, and they will start thinking in a different way. So I will just take a minute to share that PowerPoint. Is it visible?
No, sir. No, sir.
One second. Right. So when we teach, creativity is most important thing. So now we know we give more importance to critical and creative skills. So when we are bringing a child to the school, we should have some activities in the classroom which engage the child in a way so that he can think and he can find. You should not make child what do you call learn him by heart. They should learn things, remember the things, not by heart the things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He can say, if you call a child from LKG, he will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or somebody will say 2 into 4 is 8. But they should know what is 2 into 4. 2 into 4 is 8, everybody knows. What is 2 into 4 actually? 2 into 4 is 2 times 4. That is actually there you are adding 4 plus 4, that becomes 8. And 4 into 2 is also 8. What is the difference between 2 times 4 and 4 times 2? That should understand. Generally, when we learn the tables by heart. 2 into 4 is 8, 4 into 2 is also 8, we know. But do you know the difference? Have you thought about the difference? 2 times 4 and 4 times 2 are two different things. 2 times 4 is different and 4 times 2 is different. That has to be brought into the minds of the children when you are giving a multiplication activity. Because when we learn the table as by heart. We learn 2 into 4 is 8, 4 into 2 is 8, 6 into 12 is 412, or 8 into 4 is 32. They know. But what is the difference between 8 into 4 and 4 into 8? When you ask that, the child should be able to give you an explanation. He should put it in picture in front of you. 2 into 4 means it is adding 4 2 times. Or 4 into 2 is adding a pair 4 times. Right? That difference the child should be able to put. Then he is learn multiplication. Only then you can say he has learned multiplication. If he is able to write 2 into 4 as 8 and 4 into 2 as 8, he has only learned the tables to write. He has only observed. He has not gone into critical. He should be able to identify the difference. That we have to bring. So when we are giving any mathematical question, the main problem teachers face is when you give a statement problem, they are not able to answer the question. But when I ask him to write 2 into 4, he writes it as 8. But the same question, when I put it in a statement problem, what does he do? He is not able to read and comprehend. So that part, you can try this method. You can try a method called cubes, where you can circle the numbers that is in the question. If the question is, you are buying a pencil. The pencil costs 2 rupees. How much money will you pay for buying 10 pencils? So in that question, what are the numbers there? There are 2 and 10. So let him circle the numbers. Then underline the question part. What is the question part here? What is the total cost or how much money will you pay? That particular part you will underline. Then the action words. Which are the action words in the question? You will have to use, you are using this action word to find out whether it is addition, whether it is multiplication, whether it is subtraction or whether it is division that you are going to use. Then he will come to the method of evaluating and then he will solve the problem. So when you start giving a word problem in the classroom and when you start giving these basic things, first read the question. After reading it, identify the numbers that are in the question. Then so the child will automatically know what are the numbers given in the question. He will mark it. Then he will ask the question part. This is the question part of the statement. So underline that particular statement. Then he sees any box action words visible in the question. Let him find out. Let him read 2, 3, 4 times. Then the children come out. Sir, what do you have to do? They will say multiplication, they will say addition, they will come up with answer. So let them come up. Then let him evaluate. What are the steps he has to do to find the final answer? So like that, you can try these methods in the classroom when you are giving numerical problems. So what kind of problems can you give to the child? So here there is a problem, an example I will show you. There are 12 apples on a table and some in a basket. In all, there are 50 apples. How many apples are in the basket? So what do you feel about the question? Am I clear? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
What do you feel about the question?
So, may
Yeah.
so in this question, the whole part is given. That
Yeah.
there are 50 apples. That is given, and one part of that is on the table. There are 12 apples. That is also given. In the next part, that is in the basket. How many are there? That is being asked in the question.
So as a child, if you are a child, what will you do? What will be your answer?
My answer.
Yes, no? Your answer will be.
So, chapter number 50. So I have to subtract 12 from 50 to get the number of apples that are present in the basket.
Okay. See, children, what they will do is they will distribute these 50 apples in different ways. Some children will say, there are 12 apples on the table and some in a basket. So here, what happens? They will, as you said, they will divide, take, subtract 50, or they might draw a picture. They will keep 12 apples on a table, and the remaining 50 apples they will put it in some other corner of the picture. They will do it, and picturization they will do. Some children, as you said, will directly go to subtract 50 minus 12. They will do. See the next question. There are some apples on the table and some in a basket. In all, there are 50 apples. So if you give a question like this, what will happen? In the previous question, it is easy to find the answer. You have the total, you have the number, you just subtract it, you get the answer. Children might take different methods, but they will find the answer. But in this question, you will have different answers. One child will say, I have kept only 2 apples on the table, so there are 48 apples in my basket. Another child will say, I have kept 5 apples in the basket. 5 apples on the table, and I have 45 apples in my basket. So multiple ways of thinking will develop. It's a question. Every child will subtract only. Subtraction is done by everyone, but there is no one specific way of subtraction or one particular answer. A child who says there are 25 apples on the table will have a different answer. A child who says there are 0 apples on the table, even also there can be children who says I didn't keep any apple on the table. All the apples are in my basket. So 50 minus 0 is 50. I am not keeping anything on the table. So that way. So there subtraction is coming up, but in different ways. So when you give such kind of questions, you will make the children think in a different way. When you are giving a question with an answer in it, they will think only in unidirectional way. That is what we said. Don't make them think in one direction. Make them think in different directions. Both the questions you teach subtraction, but here you have various options to explain subtraction, because each child will give you different answer. So you explain subtraction for different, with one question, you can explain subtraction in many ways. So that is the advantage of giving an open-ended question. Just try this. How many am I? I am a 3-digit number, I am an odd number, I am divisible by 5. Each of my digits are different, my digits add up to you. The tens digit is smaller than hundreds digit. I am less than 300. I have only one even. I am not taking your time. So see, this makes the child think. This makes the child think. So he has to do so many things. So in class 5, if you are giving this activity in class 5, by the time the child reaches class 5, you would have learned almost all the concepts that are mentioned here. Three-digit number he knows, odd number he knows, divisibility he knows, adding he knows, right? So when you give this in a class 3, they might not be able to do. But a class 5 child or a class 4 child might be able to try it. So find out such things when you give some activities. Let them make them think. Similarly, this we all do. This we all do in our classes. Such kind of questions you can try. My friend and I shared an amount of money equally among us. Each of us had 50 rupees. How much money was there? How many friends might I have? So answers are different because depending on the number of friends and number of total amount, you can find many answers. I could see 28 legs in a room where tables and chairs are arranged. How many chairs and tables will be there? One. The same question you can change. Tables have 4 legs, chairs have 2 legs. 4 legs for tables, 3 legs for tripod stools, like that. So different combinations, different permutations are possible. You get different answers. So children will come up with different answers and they will learn the concepts also clearly. This is another type. I have 2 coins in one hand, only 1 coin in another hand. Both are having equal values. What would be the coin in my left hand and right hand? But permutation, combination, probability type of questions you can try. Because we would have learned this in our higher classes, you can write out in your lower levels when you teach coding. Then denominations you can use for teaching money, addition, subtraction. For anything you can use points. As a teaching aid, you can use points and use denominations of points. Fractions when you are teaching, this is the best teaching aid that you can try to. This 1, half of it becomes half. You can divide it into 4 parts, is 1 by 4, 1 by 8, because there are 8 in it. So 1 out of 8 parts is 1 by 8. Addition using blocks, you can try it out in classrooms. They can also try because children have these things in their house. So you can give it as an activity in the house where they can try these things. Just some examples to just make you think, that's all. So here you can write happy numbers. Write the numbers, arrows pointing from lower to higher. In class 1, class 2, you can give these activities. So they will get the idea of which number is big, which number is small. So 1 and 6, where they write 1, 6 here and 1 here, or 1 here and 6 here. So from the higher to lower, then you can, ascending and descending order, you can inform them. You should write which number. Here the question is from higher number, lower number to higher number. So based on that, we will write. These are some of the ways in which you can improve the curiosity of critical thinking, coloring the prospect. Then you can have, this is another thing, you can provide a grid to the children with so many numbers in it. And you can ask the child to find the total. The total should be 11. So which are combinations? Where all you can find out 11 numbers. Here one I have marked, 7 and 4 is giving you 11. 8 and 3 will give you 11. 9 and 2 might be there somewhere. 9 and 2 gives you 11. You can ask them to find 3 different combinations, adding 3 numbers and find 11. But you have to set it in the grid. So they will start coloring. You can give shapes in rectangles, in squares. Find out a square which adds to 9 or 11. Find out a square like that. Accordingly, you will have to prepare the grid. Here the grid is only for a 2-digit number I have said. You can prepare the grid accordingly. So they will learn coloring, they will learn addition, they will identify the numbers. So many things will go on with this simultaneously. This is another kind of activity which you can give in class 2-3, where they will start addition. You can try with subtraction, you can try with multiplication also the same. Then in 4 and 5 you can try these kind of activities. The capacity, when you are teaching the volume and capacities in 4th and 5th standard, you can try such activities. How to fill this. These questions are available in plenty, so there is, I'm not taking much time because. Then pattern type of questions. They will, in class 4 and 5, you can try these pattern type of questions where they can find out 2 triangles, 1 circle, 1 triangle, then again 2 triangles, 1 circle, 2 lines, like that it goes. So what will be the 50-50 figure? If they know multiples, they can easily find out. So a child who knows multiples, they will easily find out. Because 1, 2, then the next is coming here. 5 and 6, then next where it will come. Like that they will find out what will be the 52nd figure of next figure. This is a common thing they say when you can try it out in calculators. If your mobile key is not working, what will you do? How will you do this multiplication in a calculator if your key is not working? Or if your mobile keypad is not working, then how can you write 20? If 3 is not working, how will you do 23 into 13 in your mobile or in your calculator? If that particular part is damaged, what you can? So they will start distributing over, they will start dividing it. They will split the number and do it. So these some ways in which you can make the children think. These are some questions. I will just share the videos because it's already 1 o'clock. I will share these materials in the group. So that, and one more part I have, it is about EVS. So these are the things that you can try out when you are teaching mathematical classes, where you can bring the competencies. Various competencies are there: calculation, solving, observing, ability in computation, identification of numbers. All these things can be brought about with these activities. When you are designing an activity, you are teaching addition, so you design an activity where addition comes. Along with it, some other concepts also can be included, patterns can be included. You can bring shapes into it. So if you devise a teaching learning material for addition, if you are devising a grid, in that grid you can bring different shapes. Triangular type addition you can give. You can put a circle and then make them add it in a circle. So shape also they will learn addition also. They will get patterns also in it. So bring different concepts in one particular teaching aid. When you prepare an aid, it should be, you can use this, you should be able to use it for different things. You can use calendar for addition. You can use calendar for patterns. You can use calendar for teaching shapes. You can use calendar for bringing months. Right. So in using one calendar, you can use so many activities. With one particular grid, if you make a number grid, try to use it for different activities, so that you can have so many things, but with one particular teaching aid. So in mathematics, what we aim is make the child interested in numbers, playing with numbers. So when you give them opportunities like puzzles, games, they will start and have more interest than when you just give a number, add, write a question, add 23 plus 56. There the interest is not coming, because they are only going to sit manually and add. But the same question you put it in a different way, show some pictures and make the question. There are 26 birds sitting here. A hunter is coming. Or there is a pond nearby. So few 25 birds, in that 20 birds fly to the pond. There are 30 fishes in the pond. So now, how many fish and birds are there in the pond now? So they will have to think. First there were 50 birds in the tree. Now 20 has gone to the pond. In the pond there are 30 fishes. So you dramatize it, put a picture, draw a picture on the board. So they will relate to the picture. So art integration also takes place. Along with art, so when you are drawing an art, you can draw the fish with triangles, birds with triangles and circles. So shapes is integrated. So everything goes on simultaneously. So try these things when you are teaching maths in your class. Now, I will take hardly 5 more minutes because it's already 1 o'clock. I'll just share one slide on EVS because CBL is also used in EVS. I think is that visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So in EVS, actually what we have is the EVS is divided into 4 or 5 themes here. The major themes in EVS is family and friends, food, water, shelter, travel, and things we do. All the lessons that we did are based on these particular themes. So when you go through the textbook, you get an idea of what are the themes that are there in the textbook. And in the first theme, it is family and friends, where you have relationships, work and play, plants and animals. These are the main concepts that comes under family and friends. In the second theme, it is food. So you can see in the lessons what are the different concepts of food, what are the different food habits, the diversity of foods in our country, the various ways of cooking, the cooking process, utensils, and all those things are coming under food. Then water. You have sources of water, uses of water, pollution in water, conservation in water. These are the the lessons that come under the theme water. Then shelter. These are materials used, animals and their shelters, diversity of shelters due to social, cultural, economic uses, and the various economical and environmental issues related to culture, climatic conditions related to culture. These are the topics that come under shelter in EVS. Then transport, travel. Some lessons based on means of transport, use of animals, road safety. These are the lessons which are related to travel in EVS. Then things we make and do is another part in EVS where you make the children about identification means lessons like Pochampalli or making pots where how different things are made in different parts of the country or the world are shared with the children. So these are some of the themes that is there. This thematic approach is followed to have an, if you see from class 1 to class 5, all the textbooks, in class 1 and 2 we don't have EVS textbook. We follow what is there in the languages and maths. When it comes to class 3, 4 and 5, these are continued. The theme that is started in class 3 continues till class 5. Food. The lessons on food starts in class 3, then it gradually grows in class 4 and then the next gradually grows in class 5. Similarly, all these things, it is an integration, it is not separate. All these themes are connected to one another. Each class, they have a little bit in class 3, they learn more about food in class 4, little more about it in class 5. Like that, the themes are interrelated. So, it is connected with what they learned in their previous classes. So that is about the slides in EVS. Now one more slide, what are the different competencies that we are practicing in EVS? Can anyone share with say what are the different competencies? The different themes I shared with you. What are the different competencies that you are using in EVS? What are the different competencies that we test in EVS? These are the themes that we learn. Food, water, things we do, travel, shelter. These are the themes. To test these themes, what are the competencies that we are going to use? In your tests or in your classroom assignments, or do you have any idea what are the competencies we test in EVS class.
Observation and reporting, identification and classification,
Identification and classification.
discovery facts.
Yeah, these are the three techniques that we are testing. One is observation and reporting, identification and classification, then discovery of facts. These are the three main competencies with related to EVS. Based on all these things, we are going to do these three classifications, competencies we are going to test. One is observation and reporting. For this observation and reporting, what we do, we generally provide them situations or pictures. And based on these pictures and situations, they report. That is how the testing is done for observation and reporting. For identification and classification, you teach them so many things. Then you ask them, if you are teaching about birds, different beaks are there. Birds, if you are teaching birds which are living in water, birds which are living in land, or birds which are living on top of trees, different birds you teach them. They are able to identify it. Now you will ask them to classify it. Then which are the aquatic birds, or which are the birds which are living on trees. You make them classify. Right, that becomes in the second part. And in the third part, you are teaching discovery of facts. There they are going to learn new things. The facts. Initially they are seeing a picture, identifying, observing and reporting to you. In the second part, you are making them to classify the things. Whatever they have learned, they should be able to classify and put it in different. And in the third part, we are going to into detail what it is, why it is, how it is. All these questions will come in the third part. These are the three major parts in EVS classification. In EVS competencies, these are the three main important parts in EVS. So I think it's not a topic which has to be done in 40 minutes because it takes lots of time. So I think I made it clear. If you have any doubt or any clarification required in maths and EVS part, you can ask me now. I just rushed up a bit. I know I rushed up, but there's no other way. So if you have any doubt related to anything, so I'll just show you from two sides. Toy theater, I think Cine Madam was showing you. There's a site called GeoGebra. I think we are familiar with it, or else I'll just show you. So GeoGebra is a very good site for teaching maths because they have some very good activities which you can show to the children in online class. And there's another site called PHET, which has, it is actually a little bit higher level, but there are some very good animations and simulations which you can use in maths for and physics related content and chemistry related contents are also there. But it is good for teaching small children. Some activities, not everything, but some, especially like when you want to teach them about tens and hundreds, base value. It's a very nice activities are there in that. You just try it out. It's called PHET. You can try it out. It is a very good site. GeoGebra, I think you are using. If you are not using, just try it out. There are so many good resources in it. Just click on the link and try it out. It works much better for small kids because if you just introduce them, it is only need to introduce it to the child. You need not to use it in the classroom. If you introduce to the children, they will do by themselves. It will be such kind of site, even toy theater. So many games of multiplication, addition, subtraction are there in toy theater. So you just show them. When you are taking online classes, you just introduce them to these games. They will learn multiplication, division, addition, subtraction by playing. Need not teach. So that will make them, but you have to introduce them. Show them how to go to that particular site, where it is available, how to play. Once you show them, they will start learning it without your help. Because children, they are much advanced than us. They try, they know. Only thing is they have to just show them where it is available. Just show them the site, where it is available. They will explore much better than us. And next time they will teach us how to. So you just show them. I hope I did not, what do you say, take your valuable time because it's already 1:15. You all will be hungry. Maths is not a subject to be taught when you are in empty stomach. So I think I did justice to what I was given. I hope you enjoyed the session. I wanted to make it interactive, but since time is at constraint, I just went on with my words. So thank you all for having a patient listening. If you have any queries or doubt, you can call up me and ask. I will clear. Anything you want, you can ask me.
Any
Thank you so
participant?
much.
Thank you, Ramohan sir. I'm very glad that you could be a part of this program, and I feel very free to ask you, Priya madam, and all to come and interact with the participants. Anyway, it was a very interesting session. I know that they all got valuable inputs from this session, and I wish one of the participants to talk now, to give a feedback.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Nitya.
good afternoon, respected Hema Madam, Ramo Sir, Mr. Madam, all my dear teachers. I feel so happy to take part in this workshop. To be frank, this is my first change in highway department highway session. Dati Madam and Vijay Madam knows my real situation. I started teaching initially in July, and it was online session. So that was it was fine with me. I was able to interact with the students, but then by number first week when the students started coming to school, I understood that I was thinking in a different level, and their level of thinking was very different. I was finding it very difficult to communicate with them. Even now I am finding it difficult because even when there are many students who doesn't know to read. There is one child in my class who doesn't he doesn't know the letters, he doesn't know the numbers, and I don't know how to teach him actually. And CD Madam's class where she was explaining the syllables, the different sounds, and for every example she was giving lots of resources. And the first session by Priya Madam, where she started her session with a picture where she showed that every child is unique, every child has a different approach and the materials. Really feel that every day I'm teaching, what I feel is that I am not a good teacher. I am not a proficiency. And this workshop will definitely help me. All the resources mentioned here is of great use. And Ramon sir was about EVS. And where he was saying that the students should be made active participants in the learning process. They should be given learning experience. They should be made to think. And the example about maths that he gave, the problem, like open-ended questions should be given. It's a very good idea, sir. And all the sessions as of now, the 3 sessions that we had from the morning, it was of great use for me. Thank you, madam. Thank you, everyone. And I feel so happy to attend this session. Thank you, Rajini, Vijay madam, Ramon sir, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramohan sir, for sparing your time once again, because competency-based learning is a very important topic, very relevant topic. CBSE says that all CBSE schools have resorted to competency-based learning, but if it is not sinking into the minds of teachers will not be able to incorporate that in their normal teaching, and traditional teaching will continue to prevail. So the meaning of what a competency-based learning and what is its relevance in the life of children needs to be understood by every teacher. And Ramohan sir was very successful to discuss competency-based learning and its importance in this meeting, especially in relation to maths as well as EVS. So thank you so much, sir. Kottayam cluster will look forward to meet you again. We don't have any HMs, but we have our associates, Priya madam and Ramohan sir, always with us morally. So thank you so much for your contribution. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Ramon sir, for giving us your valuable time, and we are grateful for your help.
Oh, ma'am, it is a part of the job. It's not that we are all one family wherever we are.
Okay.
Individually, I eat होता है ना.
Jarur, definitely.
It is one.
Yes, you have said it. So thank you. Shall we wind up, Punha ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. And we will have some work assigned for them through the classroom. I noted that only 15 have joined. Maybe people are missing the link. I do not know. And the attendance of today's session also will be posted in the WhatsApp group. You will see I have tracked the attendance of how many were present and up to what time. Many of you did not turn the camera on despite after repeated directions. So I will send the attendance sheet to your principals. And to regional office. Okay, you should actively participate. The thing is that, as I told in the beginning, the benefit is for children. We have to take this very seriously. See, we are spending our very valuable time for 2 days, isn't it? So it has to be meaningful, because time is very important. You have taken some time off from your day to day, 17th and 18th, and that was the time that should have been allotted to children, and we have taken it. Then it should benefit students, isn't it? So that spirit, I hope everybody will understand. Thank you, Sini madam here. It was a very enriching session on phonics. Many of the things I also came to know for the first time from your lecture, and you were discussing about 2 documents. Unfortunately, the problem is that some of the teachers will be attending CET workshops, and they will conduct workshops for all the other teachers in the region. Sometimes many of us will never come to know about these are the things to be done. So it was an eye-opener for me at some points in your session. So thank you, Sini madam. I hope all the participants have noted the importance of the documents that she was mentioning, and those who haven't taken these documents will be taken and kept in their diary and then follow it. Please share these documents in the WhatsApp group also, Sini madam. If you are not already part of it, at least share it with Vijay madam. Thank you so much. Yeah, we shall wind up for today, but keep watching the classroom. The assignment will be put there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you all the resource persons and all the participants.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Yes, Vijay madam and Raji madam, thank you for your support for your entire day today. Tomorrow again we will meet. Raji madam sessions are there for tomorrow. Vijay madam has completed, but she, as a coordinator, you are doing great work, great support. Yes, yeah, thank you.